like later on tonight is when my money drops, whatever. So I'm like heavily leveraged, obviously, into crypto. So I took my credit score and dipped it into crypto, especially now with the dip. So I gotta spend the rest of the day organizing the line. I mean, I already did most of the research. I'm gonna get the finalities of it. Speaking of a bunch of Marines, I mean, that's what got me into crypto. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that shit. I was just like, that's all, just and too much of a hustle, right? Like, just Ponzi scheme, what I read up on it just cursorily because I was like, I had a meeting. I was like, nah, do that. A couple months later, and I was like, all right. And then start putting a little bit of money in. There's a blockchain. I mean, and it's growing. It's one of the stronger ones. I mean, I see ones that are like a lot, but it's like definitely mid tier right now. What I invested in. So I mean, you got Shiba Inu, Ether, and then right in here, that's where this blockchain is. So anyways, but so I was like, then I made a commitment, a substantial commitment to it. But military is like, I wouldn't say they're into crypto, but I don't know if the command's allowed to say that. But the military is like a mixed punch. Take a lot of risks. You know what I mean? Uh, But sometimes you get some brilliant, brilliant people that take risks, and I like to think the latter. So, I mean, he's get some really good information. Sometimes, I mean, you all got, but you all got to tell. Anyways, so I'm up. It's Monday. I'm not wearing something red, but I do have a Valentine's mug. Got it last year. There's like a dual to this and shit like that, but broken transit. It was just kind of like whatever, but it's kind of big. So, bam, have it for the holiday. I was thinking about when I got up. So, I'm up right now. I was like, I had four margaritas. I don't really drink, and I woke up an hour ago, and I was dehydrated and very unsettling feeling. I don't like it at all. I know how this Navajo died. You know what I'm talking about? American hero was on the pedestal to the United States Marine Corps. Um, so just that whole, I already don't drink readily. I mean, I will drink with groups of people and alone with somebody I trust. And with people who I trust, it's rare, exceedingly rare, but I do it. Um, you know what I mean? It's just like it's just something I'm very apprehensive about. It's like something that I would need to know about it. It's like even smoking weed is I don't really do it unless it's in the confines of my uh, place, but I'm very relaxed on it now. It took me years to get like that. I think like one time, I think I saw Snoop Dogg and my Puerto Rican friend from Y&I who sold like I think he sold it to Snoop Dogg, and I didn't really ever really want to dig too deeply into that because by that time I know, um, it wasn't a good idea to, uh, talking about as it's like I, things were, it wasn't. I don't sell drugs, what I'm talking about. So, but I knew certain things and certain people, and there's Hawaiians, there's Samoans, and he was like the one Puerto Rican it's connected to other Samoans and Hawaiians, whatever. That's still, um, or whatever, Not a lot of Puerto Ricans out here. I mean, not a lot. Maybe say they are, but they're not. But anyways, if I knew Snoop wanted to smoke whatever, I would have done it. But it was like he pulled up and I saw him in there. I was like, I'm good. I don't like surprises at all, man. I'm talking about it's just like spidey senses. And I mean, he's totally cool person. Like, but it's just like the whole growing up with drugs and pushing it away, constantly smacking cigarettes out of people's hands, and seeing all my friends slowly deteriorate. Even before that, there's heroin and AIDS and stuff we had to deal with. And being, having my stomach pumped, waking up with charcoal everywhere, being carried out of parties on, my Puerto Rican friends, dragging me out. Don't want any part of any kind of drugs, I mean. So dehydrated, don't want any part of it. And so that's the one thing I do regret, what I mean? Uh, is knowing how just chill he is, but what I'm saying? It's just like it's all right, what I mean? It's like there's things he's aware of things hard bigger than just the FBI and federal government, whatever, I'm talking about. And I think I was watching Fat Joe. Like people just knew better not to fuck with it because the more you push into it and find out about, there's other departments that make sure that everything's balanced, you know what I mean? So you don't really try to push into it. You just because they have unlimited resources to come at you or whatever. And so you just sort of knew that growing up. um, I mean, anyways, but I'm up because I don't want to get dehydrated and it just unsettling. So now I'm up and I want to do this. Um, Getting back to the center of what I was talking about by crypto, because I'm more rambling. This getting up. We got into it late. I speak to my friend or whatever. Ether, or they're locked into Ether. These people, like they're this diehard Ether. You know, and I guess we came in at that time. Maybe I feel that way, and maybe I'm feeling that way towards Binance. And I want to be like, oh, what is the next big thing? Is it Avalanche? Other people? And then it's hard really to speak to people because a lot of these people don't do the research or whatever, and it's the constant thing, DYOR, do your own research. And you don't know how much, and people just start speaking without doing it. I don't want to become that. Yeah, my hair is done. Um, so let me just actually restart this, whatever. No, I'll keep it because I can't see chat, but um, now it's like Binance, and it's not a stable coin, but it's a stable investment coin, blockchain. So I'm trying to figure out how much do I want to put in that or not. Um, so I got some good news about some other funding or whatever that I'll be able to have, and that's it. Once that comes in, I'll be kind of forced to work. So, and that's a good thing. Like I can't be sedentary because as soon as you're still you're not moving, not hustling. It's like as soon as I walk in with my crutches right now, because I could walk sort of kind of good, short distances. Like they try to be cool about it, but like, hey, you want to go on this thing? I was like, no, I ain't trying to do no fucking scooter and shit like that. Just trying to, I need my exercise, trying to find dumbass reasons to go out and move, I'm talking about, and it's really kind of helping or whatever. It's forcing me to push off and everything. So I'm trying to utilize as much as I can, like that movement, what I mean? Uh, so, anyways, so long story short, wherever my story is beginning or ending, Like that's where my budget's got to be. Do my hair. It's like it's either you have your hair done or you don't. You know what I mean? It's either you look homeless or you look normal, like a normal fucking person or whatever. I don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. So it's, forgot to wear my fucking retainers and get my feet, my teeth done too. Also, whenever. So this daily shit, you just gotta fucking or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like the thing about it is getting back to Binance or whatever. I'll get back to my daily shit. But one thing about that, I'm on already on Ritalin for attention deficit. They're gonna also put me on another one, just this a little bit over here. It's also, and it's on the smallest dosage. They keep wanting to increase it to me, but I know I'm like, just like, Oxy just for the last couple months has got me tired as fuck, man. And so I got back home. I didn't take any Oxy. Took this drink or whatever. And so I don't combine it at all. It's like I'm so like I pay attention to what goes in my body, and I have like that stimmy you put up your nose just in case you overdose, like right there if I could grab it. My friend died, overdosed. It's just like, you just gotta think about he died peacefully in his sleep, you know what I mean? He's died from AIDS, from heroin. You see where because you grow up in Seaside and white people live like this, and then back in the day weren't a lot of Latinos, very few black people. And black people lived on that side of the train track, so to speak. Like when you grew up in Jersey, New Jersey, you had Hackensack and you had River Edge, and then once you really did cross the train tracks, and that's where black people live. You know what I mean? It's like so you go down on the Jersey Shore, and you have little small groups of Puerto Ricans and like a black person, like here, maybe over there, and then you get south part of town, and it's just different life, man. It's like they live in a world. They think like is you don't see you're not in that world. You know what I mean? So, but it's all around you. It's like you have this, and you're not allowed in to a lot of extents. I mean, growing up, I'm gonna say you forced your way in. I mean, we did force our way in, so to speak. But I guess we are lucky because we had family, a lot of Puerto Ricans that were Italian, Irish. I mean, by blood. So, and then a lot of Italians, a little bit Puerto Ricans, but that kind of thing, that hustle and everything. And me growing up in Italian, German household or whatever. So, but it is you just don't see that world of white people. It's just they don't want you to see it. It's like go back to the ghetto. I'm like, my parents are white, and then so you occupy, and then like, so you get down there in Jersey, they don't know who you are. Uh, Somewhere in between that, you occupy both spaces, the bottom and the top. At the end, it's not one or the other. You realize you occupy both of them at the same time. It's just like this odd thing. And when you go to the Marine Corps, it's the same thing as I didn't create this world. This is what's gonna happen. You get a ruler, and they show me the ruler. This is what's gonna happen. You're gonna be the bottom, or you're gonna be at the top. It's your choice. I already made the choice by the time I was in the Marine Corps. It's just like everything already collapsed around me. So it's just I have no choice. I didn't know exactly. I know what it looked like, sort of, kind of, but I didn't know exactly everything. It took years to like remove all that shit from me, and a lot of it is just to remove all that stuff that you realize that I guess makes you look at the world uh, a certain way. You know what I mean? Like negatively. I mean, it's more than negativity. I mean, but it's just like I think this commitment not to do anything criminal. But what does that look like? Doesn't mean you know what to do right. And I'm in therapy now, whatever. So I'm still always just talking things out. Always speaking aloud and shit. Just like normal stuff to therapists. It's dumbass shit. I think last time I talked about it's like seeing a doctor about my legs. I missed it because these fucking VA doctors, they have this. It's I could see them joking. I could see because I'm like in this semi-executive type of program. They won't admit that I'm like I'm not a fool, man. It's just like and it's like they schedule both my fucking VA appointments always on the same fucking time slot. So they want me to call back up, and I'm like, I can't keep track of everything. What the fuck, man? It's like, don't do that. Just one after the other. Like, do you get off on that? I mean, like, it's just like on it's like on dumb shit. I don't get it. And it's like constant. It's not what one thing. It's like if I don't pay attention to my fucking shit, they will schedule like three things on the same fucking day, same time slot. Like, and into the database. I'm talking about. You could tell. You could fucking tell, man. It's like what the fuck. Anyway, so now every time I call up on the tripler side, on the military side, not the VA side, you think the military and VA same thing? Uh, can't make an appointment, so I just got to show up over there, and I was like, I feel kind of guilty, man. It's like it's not only that be like, hey, can you make an appointment? And it was like, oh no, we gotta send you over here and over here and over here to make an appointment. And they get their fucking shit off on telling civilians, VA people, because veterans always demand to be this, that, and the other, or people are not in active duty. It's a running joke when you're in active duty. Reservists, civilians. Trying to get all these services and shit like that. Same respect and all that other stuff as active duty. And so it's just like push them away, and then you got the civilian personnel also having that attitude, being around them. You're like, dude, like who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? You're not in the military, but you have that attitude. It's like you don't give me you're this ultimate fucking anyway. Why don't you join the military? How about that shit? I mean, that shit. Reach over that fucking thing and start pressing where my goddamn appointment is. That's what I'm gonna do. Have the base security, talk to me. What are you doing here? Make my point. What are you doing? Fuck shit. Anyways, no, I'm not gonna do it. but you have to go there. But another thing is like I'm apprehensive about asking them to squeeze me in, which is basically what it's going to mount up to. Be real, because I want to also get the hardware removed and whatever else. I mean, it's already there, but it's just I want to be real and just I don't want to seem like I'm pushing for something that shouldn't be done, or whatever. So this the war. I don't know the correct path or whatever, and this showing up there is a little bit dealing with people. No, I don't like dealing, with people that already have that mindset. Because my instant thing is like if they weren't like in a military setting, it's just to be an asshole to them. They have this unnatural authority being civilians, so I just gotta eat it or whatever. So I'm just like whatever. So I mean, I don't care if it's like military, but all right, like whatever. But but I'm like VIP, so it's just I don't like to push it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I was like speaking of therapy, like I don't, it's like I need to do it, but like whatever. Anyway, so I'm rambling on, just getting up. Probably somebody saying some shit. I don't see nothing. I don't care. Um, Getting back to Jersey, I am really glad I joined the military. I just really, this is my life. I think about it, it could be so much different, and I don't think I would have ever found my biological sisters, um, ever. It's like recently I was going to put in the paperwork to find them, and then my sister, both my sister, well, one of my sisters, they got Puerto Ricans that are. She's more of the ones that are kind of loud. You know what I mean? Like so she talks about my mom, so she downplays it, about my mom or whatever. Just so it's not something I would have found out on my own. It would only had been through a DNA test, and maybe I would have took the DNA tests older, but I don't think I would ever got that opportunity. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. It's in Jersey. It's not like I got out of like my boarding school, and that's where the opportunities just ended. It's like they didn't want you to go to school there. It's like insult to injury. You get down to Seaside. They don't even want to go to school. The school that was 3 streets over from you. Yeah, just 5 minute walk. I had to go all the way up to Jersey City for the state alternative school where the worst kids in the state went to. And you're just like, you went to a gifted school, and then 2 months later, you're at the worst school um, in the state because your town designated you As soon as you walk in there, they had to go up there, even before you walked in the door, you know? So there's just like that. And then a year and a half later, you're able to go to that school. You know what I mean? It's just like you had to go to Tom's Erased. But then years later, people are like, you're not even from Seaside. It's just like, it's an insult to injury. And it's just like they just make up whatever they want to make up about your past. And it's just like, it's hard to relate to people. It's hard to talk to people because they don't, it's not just based on what actually happened. You know what I mean? It's hard. I mean, I can't talk to people that don't realize you're from New Jersey or from the shore. You know what? Just simple things. You know, I mean, it's just like it's not a big deal. You know, it's just going to school, going to high school. Like why? And it's not even the things that happen in high school. It's just the simple fact that I went there. You know, so it's just like hard to. There is no conversation because it is like no, that's not true. And I was like, all right, you know, good, peace. You know, I can't. I just there is nothing. It's not like I can't change that. I can't change you to listen to the truth if you don't think I lived in Jersey or went to the Jersey Shore. There's nothing I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not. I can't make you see facts. You know, I'm not. It's not my job. I'm not gonna make you see the sky is blue or whatever. It's just not. I'm not. You know, I don't have time for that. I got to do my own thing. I got to figure out shit my own self. You know what I mean? It's like no one's telling me nothing. I got to figure it out my own. I don't have a sports structure. I got to do it myself. I got to keep reading. I got to keep doing my thing. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like no one's gonna do that for me. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I can't tell you to cross-reference stuff, and it's not my problem. You know what I'm talking about? It isn't. So I mean, and you get out there, and people like say, oh, they're Latino when they're not. I can't deal with it. If you're not, you're not. And it's like, you got you cool with people in Jersey. It's a simple response. When you come out here, you don't see that. It's just not that the culture is just not here. So you don't have that connection. You know what I mean? It's nothing I could give to you. You know what I'm talking about? Those family connections should already be there. You know, the culture. I don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean? Because the whole saying, ripped away from your family. That's literally true for me. I mean, granted, growing up was that, you know, said a different way. People pick up on that, and everything else. Being native, all this other stuff. But out here, it's just like it's just not here. So it's just like you can't be cool with people who say one thing and the other, and I'm just like I'm passive. I grew up here. My parents said this. This is everything. You all debate about it. You know what I mean? Just let it. You know what I'm talking about? Let me see. I'm cool with it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not gonna preface it or anything else like that. You got a free and open mind. I'm not gonna tell you what to do or any of that shit. I never was that person to like, you just don't tell violent people what to do, man. It's just you just didn't. You know what I mean? That's just how you get shot in the back of the head. You it's just you just didn't. Being in a violent society with Latinos, whatever's happened in New York. I think Fat Joe said it was like the 90s and 80s. Like the crazy times were the 70s, man. Italians, everything, fucking killing everybody and shit. 80s, yeah. But now that I look back on it, before your time, you know what I mean? Like you hear stories and stuff like that, 70s. Because you never think it's always like when you grew up, it's always the craziest. Then you look at shit. Fuck, what the hell happened in the 70s, man? Fuck that shit. But anyways, no, I lost track. The fuck I was talking about. But I don't know. I just was never that person to enforce my will on people. I was like, I don't want people to enforce my will, and that's where the conflict was. You know what I mean? Because they'll be like, they're trying to tell you this, and I always get irate, when people are trying to tell me, you know, how they view the world is how I view the world. I mean, don't tell me shit. If I don't tell you how to view the world, you don't tell me how to view the world. It's like, and you sure as hell, talking about any kind of like, being Native American, Latino, it's just super frustrating dealing with people. Especially with Italians, because they always wanted Latino to be something other than Native, like trying to tell them like, no, that's not how it is. So, there's a lot of conflict there, but I can't lie to myself. I can't be like, I am what you want me to be. I can't change who I am. I am Latino and Native American. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not, and who we are is not going to be what you want it to be. You know what I mean? It's not going to be some derivative of Italian or whatever, or black or whatever, but it was Italians, I guess, being Jersey. You know what I mean? I guess definitely being Native American. Uh, I definitely push more of a native aspect of it. And I don't regret it, but it's just like by the time I reached Jersey, I mean South Jersey, Jersey Shore, really not South Jersey, Jersey Shore. Like I already had a lot of different type of Latino experiences, from really dark Puerto Rican and black Puerto Rican, Dominican, to light skinned Puerto Rican. So getting down to the Jersey Shore, a lot more lighter skinned Puerto Ricans, and basically almost all of them. Um, so, but there, more is like second, third day of school, come Tom Reese, it's like, oh, okay, I heard you this, that, and everything. I was like, yeah, that's me, totally honest. I walk in the house, it's just like you just basically hit in the face with the insults and everything. So I'm not even gonna try to sit down. I'm like, you're gonna sit down. Oh, I'm sitting down. So, it's like Native American T-shirt. It's like our way of putting everything on the table. So, but it's like a survival instinct, I suppose. Pushing one community. But I was already pushed, bringing out more Native in me from the beginning, out unknowingly. And then I guess your core self, you push it out. But it's just like you really get, that I think you want to walk down the streets the other Native Americans, and that's a source of your anger, and your friends know that, your close friends know that. I think like when you start getting outside of that, maybe, and they think it like it's an act or whatever, but you try to be totally real with them. It's like you see white people walking down the street all the time. You don't even, you take it for granted. You'd be like, hey, what's up, Bob, Billy, whatever. I mean, you speak about black people and be like, hey, you see other black people walking down the street, You know what I mean? Granted, you're abroad over here and everything, but you do see that. And you gotta look at it from my point of view and the few of us that are here. Look at my skin. This from being native. There's so few of us left. Do I have that luxury in the community where I could see my people and be, hey, what's up? And shake hands. So, and be like, what's up? I have that support. I don't. And that's why, and even at a young age, I knew that, you know what I mean? I didn't know how to go the right way to build a support structure. I did the wrong way. But it's just like, if I say, I'm hesitant to state how I felt then, to state that now. It was like, it was my way of thinking it back then after I said that. It's like, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing till I get that. You know what I mean? And to them, it's just like, you want to build Native Americans above everybody else. I think back then, I didn't mind, you know what I mean? This Native Americans, you know, who we are, but I think on the periphery, they couldn't argue it, and they wanted us to be something different, something they can't argue against. And so any kind of association with something else, outside being native, they're like, I'm talking about, it's like, that's gotta be it, like, and that's where the source of the conflict was. It's like, no, we're native, man. And I think that's where the overlap with a lot of Puerto Ricans are. It is the difficulty for America to understand that Puerto Ricans are native. And that's where the conflict, no, there got to be something else, something we could say we are. We go down Puerto Rican and say we're Italian out in Puerto Rican, so you accept me this and you give me all the respect. But that community has achieved whatever, and I could abuse or whatever, use, and whatever else. And that's where the source of conflict is, because you want them to be something else, something that's easier for you to convince other people to get inside the community and culture and use. And it's almost like generation with it, you still see the same thing. I mean, you know, granted I'm out here and isolated and sort of ostracized or whatever, but I still see it. And it's kind of frustrating. You think like, just listen to people. Like they're not trying to confuse you. It's just like, it's just that you want them to view the world how you want them to view the world. You're trying to enforce your will onto them, and don't do that. You know what I mean? It's just like, granted, like the most talented people, gifted people rise, especially the more violent things become. It has to be the most talented, skillful people. I mean, because then you get people that's outright forced their way in, violence and everything. Now you see that, growing up, it always has to be based on skill and talent. Um, Always. Here I am, like, this guy against people a lot bigger than me. It's like, no way I was forcing my way through shit. You know what I mean? I mean, I could be highly aggressive, but it's still, everybody was like that. You know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean? So, no, no. That's just always my thing. I don't know. I think it gives you peace of mind later on in life. Just making sure that you can't be brought down. You know what I mean? It's just like, someone feels this about you, that's how they feel, and that's their problem. You know what I mean? That's not who you are. So how can I feel bad about myself? You know what I mean? It's just, someone says one thing and you know the other. You know what I mean? It's like, it just shows your level of intelligence to discern shit. And then, I guess growing up, it's just like you speak to people, police officers, and everything. It's like, what do you have on me? And you're just like, well, you're not well informed. What's your level of intelligence on me? You know what I mean? So saying it, and then you realize it doesn't matter because it's unusable. You know what I mean? But you could tell the level of what they have in front of them. It's like whatever. So, but it's just I don't have to play those games anymore. It's just very relaxing. I mean, I'm out here. None of that stuff is here. I don't have to worry about nothing. I mean, there's racism out here, but they don't act on it. You know what I mean? It's like in Jersey, I'll act on that racism. Like, fuck you, nigger, fuck you, spick. I'll act on it like that. So you just sort of get someone like, what's it called, stink eye or whatever. It does nothing to me. It's like I'm not in your community. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't do nothing to me. So it's just, you know, it's just there's nothing out here. You know what I mean? So it's just I'm very lucky that there is nothing, and life could have been different, and now it forced me into a path of getting an education, finish my education, coming from a GED. So very lucky. So I don't think I don't know. Yeah, I'm just very very lucky. I don't regret it in the least, man. What I do regret is not having pageants. I think if I didn't have pageants, I could have excelled extremely well in the Marine Corps. It's just you could tell people were was it frustrated, but dealing with the nation's best. Looking back on it, I could make it. I just couldn't sustain it. So, and it was very quickly apparent, So it's just my bone disorder. So, oh man, I was watching. Fucking don't look up. That's throwing the fucking medication. It's like, oh, you like disorder? I'm like, fuck, dude. You know, I, you know, so I was watching Don't Look Up, and then I watched the halftime show. Two best things I was on. I mean, it's because of Omicron this year. Well, not this year. It's just like this. It's whole pandemic still going on. Like, no one's really showing up. I figured it out why I don't like watching sports the last 2 years. I figured it out. It is pandemic, but why? Is it okay? Oh, this is a pandemic. Blame everything on the fucking pandemic. It is because people are not showing up at the stadiums. People are not showing up to stadiums. They're not talking about it. They're not talking about to their neighbors and everything. They're not talking about to their neighbors, creating that little hype or whatever. Everything else just sort of diminishes out there and just radiates. You know what I mean? And so that's what it is. So I'm just like, don't worry. It's not just because of the Giants. You're not doing well, whatever, my usual bullshit excuse, but it's that. And so I sort of analyzed it like yesterday. Like, nothing I could do about it. I mean, I just, not that I don't care. It's like, what do you want from me? I'm talking about. It's like being out here, you could say, you're Latino when you're not. There's nothing I could do to make you have that culture. I can't. It's like someone can't make me learn Spanish. I sort of care. I do want to learn, but I sort of don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Same thing out here. You really are not Latino. It's not like, you know, I'm talking about, like, I don't even want to say that because they'll just copy the whole shit. It's like, oh yeah, you know, the whole shit was ripped away from you. It wasn't ripped away from you. You just never were Latino. You know what I mean? It's just like, I can't give you that culture. You know what I mean? It's like nothing. I know that you want to, and you sort of kind of have some dark skin for being South Asian. You want to associate yourself with that, but it's just not there. You're just, it's not there. I spoke to so many Latinos, not just Puerto Ricans. It's just like, what the fuck are you people talking about? You know what I'm talking about? It's like, you're just not. This is bizarre. You know what I mean? And how do you think us feel? You know, like Latinos who have native blood. You know, with with our eyes. You know what I mean? You're saying your eyes are. It's our rarity of having that native blood that have that eye. You know, it's like can't see the whole fucking islands like that. I mean, come on. Can't, you know, it's just not there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, you know, not like nothing bad about any of the teams or whatever. So, I didn't even know who was playing. So I thought, like, should I watch it? And I was like, yeah, you know, some of the best, they're probably some of the best athletes there and everything. I was like, I, it just wasn't there for me. You know, I'm not, so it's hard to explain. You know, I'm not really a sports guy to begin with, but I do like to watch it, like here and there. You know, basically Super Bowl. You know, oh, you know, you don't want to idolize anybody. You always want to make yourself into that person being idolized. You know, lift weights, study, become, keep pushing yourself always. You know, just always doing that. But I just think it's bad practice to always do that. I mean, even like growing up, it's like I think in wrestling, I sort of got that mentality. Um, it's like my wrestling coach, like here is there was like this wrestling champion, this black guy from the like the 80s, whatever, and like 80, I think it was from like Los Angeles or something, like 84. And here it is, like 4 8 years later. I think that was ancient history. You know, being in the 90s, I was like, I don't care about anybody in the 80s, man. Fuck all that shit. That was like the before times. That's a dinosaur time. You know what I mean? And but it's like here's this wrestling guy, Campbell, David Campbell, I believe his name was, freestyle wrestler. But like a gym coach was just like, you know, remarkable wrestler. But you really shouldn't, like there's certain moves, but who teaches them? There's the coaches that teach them. It's not really him. You know what I mean? And maybe it was a little bit racist now that I look back on it. But it's just that you realize that you shouldn't idolize that person. It's the whole making yourself into that, getting the right coaches, getting the vocabulary moves, keep working towards that. And it was just so drilled into, you know, talking about um because that's all we did, you know what I mean? It's just like you got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you went to wrestling practice. You ate breakfast, you know, you went to church. You went to wrestling practice after church. No, church, breakfast, wrestling practice again till about 9, 10 o'clock or whatever. School at 3 o'clock, wrestling practice again. Dinner, study hall, 45 minutes of free time. Got up 3 o'clock, wrestling practice again. So all you did during wrestling season. Um, and leading up to wrestling season, you know, so before wrestling season, that's what we did. Wrestling season and the tail end of it, you know, what did we do at the end of wrestling season? track that had to directly be connected with wrestling. I remember that. I remember, yeah. So I was just always just so focused on wrestling. Because when I went to the school that was just the wrestling powerhouse, and it was just expected, you know what I mean? And so you only had 200 people there, and it's just this what you did. I mean, it's what the school did. So I mean, but it was just so ingrained into you. You need to become that, and don't look at any kind of sports star or whatever, you know. And here I am, 100 pounds. I was 100 fucking pounds. When I went there, I was less than 100 pounds. You know, and I wrestled at a varsity JV varsity level in seventh grade and eighth grade. So, and here I am wrestling 10th graders, 11th graders, seniors. God, 13 years old, you know what I mean? You gotta understand, it's not like, oh, you're wrestling someone 5 years older than you know what I mean? Like when you're young, like your body's not really fully developed, you know what I mean? So these people have a lot more muscle mass than you. You realize like just that little bit gives them a big fucking edge, man. People it's like, oh, it's talent and skill, and you sort of kind of realize muscle weight and strength is people sleep on that. And whatever people sleep on toward things, like they can't people don't talk about it. It's not something you talk about to people like, oh, it's muscle strength. It's them. Look at Mike Tyson, you know, his punch and everything. But it's speed they sleep on. People don't talk about that. Balance, people don't talk about. You got really good balance. I mean, you have a reversal like in midair. No, and if you're brilliant, slip on that. The vocabulary moves. But you know, you be there. Some of these people weren't all that brilliant either. You know, I'm talking about and you could sort of get a feel for that. You know, they always go for certain things, whatever. You get taught that, and be like they'll go for this. They go for this, then you go for that. You know what I mean? So, but it only works certain ways because you say like how it's like a chess game, but it's just sort of kinda. But you know, at a certain level you have that, but once you raise to a certain level, that stuff doesn't come into play anymore. You're just everybody's so talented, you know what I mean? But going to the Jersey Shore before MMA and all that other stuff, I had an edge on people. Now it's like a death trap, suicide mission. So, but anyways, it's just I don't know. It's hard to get for me to get into sports. You know, I think because of that as my coaches, and then everybody like who did like basketball and everything. They're all into like WWE and shit like that. You know, get back to your cottage, you know, back to your thing. They're all like jumping off the couches and shit like that, and whatever else like that. I'm like, you don't want to even do any of that because it interrupts your focus, whatever. Because then you're just sort of playing around and everything, and your mind is just so it's like I can't look at it. I can't. It just totally, you know what I mean? It's just, and that sort of pushes you away even more, whatever. Because it's that gray area where they don't want to come forward with, you know, it being real or fake. You don't want to even want to get in an argument. And it's like whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just, excuse me. So you did that more things. So that's just me. So I was just like, man, I just watched Super Bowl halftime show. Long story short, you know, the halftime show. I sort of don't look up, or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just like whatever. Anyway, so I gotta go get up, charge my car, get ready for the week, ready for the day, do more research or whatever. And do that. Uh, but I don't know. It's just I know. I don't know. It's just I want to say something, but I'm just not like that. I just always believed in making people the best they could be and protected that, knowing that I couldn't be that, and now I am that person. You know what I mean? That achieved. You know what I mean? It's just like you get rid of all that. Just so thankful. You know what I mean? And now you're in a position to move forward. And you're just grateful. So it's just like you see these good people in Jersey, and Latino, and they get picked on for being Latino, and you're like, no, you don't have to be cool with me. You don't have to be none of that. But you're not talking shit to this bro. Let them study. Let them do what they need to do. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I don't want to hear anything. You know what I mean? And now it's just like you're right there. Instead of like you just feel good. You know what I mean? It's hard to really like put into words, but it's like, but you still, I don't know. Try to explain. All right, I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? All right, I'm out. Explain it maybe later. When next tier of my life. You know what I mean?